In a peaceful forest, where the trees stood tall and the sun filtered through the leaves in soft beams, there lived a bear named Benny. Benny was big, very big, and covered in soft brown fur. His favorite thing in the world, though, wasn't his size or his strength. It was honey. He loved honey more than anything else, and he knew exactly where to find it. Deep within the heart of the forest, in the hidden honeycombs kept by the busy bees. One fine morning, Benny was strolling through the woods, humming to himself and sniffing the air. The scent of flowers was in full bloom, and he couldn't help but smile. He loved these peaceful mornings, when the world felt fresh and full of possibility. As he walked along, a small buzzing sound caught his attention. Benny looked up and saw a tiny bee zooming past his nose. He smiled wide, recognizing the little creature. "Well, hello there, little bee," Benny said, his deep voice rumbling through the air. "What brings you buzzing by so early in the day?" The bee, whose name was Buzzy, stopped mid-flight and hovered in front of Benny. "Oh, hello, Benny," Buzzy said in a cheerful, high-pitched voice. "I'm just heading to the hive. Got a lot of nectar to gather and some honey to make before the sun gets too hot." Benny's ears perked up at the mention of honey. He was always eager for a taste of the sweet, golden treat. "Honey, you say?" Benny's eyes twinkled. "I do love a good spoonful of that golden goodness. Maybe you could share some with me, eh?" Buzzy laughed and shook his tiny head. "Oh, Benny, it doesn't quite work that way," Buzzy said, flying in a small circle. "It takes a lot of work to gather nectar, turn it into honey, and store it in the hive. I don't think I can just hand some over to you." Benny scratched his head thoughtfully. Hard work, you say? Well, maybe I could help you. I'm great at finding food." Buzzy giggled at the thought of Benny trying to gather nectar. "Well, Benny, you're certainly good at being big, but I think your paws might be a little too clumsy for delicate flowers. You might squish everything with those big feet of yours." Benny looked down at his massive paws and chuckled. "You've got a point. I am a bit more of a big paws, big appetite kind of bear." But Buzzy, being the clever little bee that he was, had an idea. "Tell you what, Benny," he said, buzzing in place. "How about I show you a trick? If you're quick, you can catch some of the honey that's ready for harvest. I can't give it to you directly, but I can show you how to get it." Benny's face lit up. "A trick? You bet I want to learn. I'll be the best student you've ever had." The two of them made their way deeper into the forest until they reached a meadow full of wildflowers. The air was thick with the sweet scent of blooming petals, and bees darted from flower to flower, collecting nectar. Benny watched in awe as Buzzy zoomed around, expertly weaving in and out of the flowers. "Okay, Benny, here's the plan," Buzzy explained, hovering near a patch of bright yellow daisies. "You have to be fast and gentle. Just dip your nose in the flowers, like this," Buzzy demonstrated, landing on a daisy and sipping some nectar. Benny nodded enthusiastically, his large, fuzzy head bobbing up and down. "I'm ready. I'm nimble." But as he tried to move toward the flowers, he accidentally stepped on a cluster of daisies with his big paws, sending petals flying everywhere. Buzzy chuckled. "Careful, Benny. You're a bit too bouncy for this." Benny grinned sheepishly, his face turning pink. "Oops. Maybe I need to be a bit more gentle." The two spent the next few minutes in a merry, clumsy dance. Benny would carefully lower his nose to a flower, but then his large paws would crush others nearby. He was getting the hang of it, but his big bear body made things tricky. Still, every now and then, Benny would manage to catch a drop of honey on his nose or paws, and he'd eagerly lick it off. After a while, Benny had enough honey to fill his belly, and he was grinning from ear to ear. He plopped down in the soft grass, his paws sticky with honey. "This," Benny said, licking his paws with satisfaction, "is the best day ever. Thanks for the lesson, Buzzy." Buzzy buzzed happily around Benny's head. "No problem, Benny. But next time, maybe just stick to enjoying the honey. Leave the work to us bees, okay?" Benny laughed, patting his full stomach. "Deal. But if you ever need a snack break, I'm your bear." With that, Benny and Buzzy shared a laugh as they watched the bees buzzing around the meadow. The forest hummed with life, and Benny felt content. He had learned something new, made a new friend, and most importantly, had a full belly of honey. And from that day on, whenever Benny wandered the forest, he always kept an eye out for Buzzy, ready to share a laugh or a moment of sweetness.